In the annals of crime history, few tales invoke the superstition and the mysterious, quite like those involving murders initially attributed to vampires. These chilling cases, shrouded in folklore and fear, captivated imaginations and installed terror in communities across the globe. The notion of vampires have long held a potent grip on human psyche. However, behind the veil of superstition lies a complex tapestry of real-life homicides, where the line between myth and reality blurs, leaving the investigators grappling with questions of motive, identity, and the nature of evil itself. Prayers to the family, and don't forget to subscribe.
On a cold November day in 1994, the Parisian Brigade Criminelle apprehended a young man outside the iconic Moulin Rouge. The suspect, Nicolas Claux, was a mere 22 years old and was suspected of the murder of Thierry Bissonnier, a 34-year-old man. Bissonnier's demise was part of a disturbing string of murders that targeted the homosexual community, with 7 occurring in October alone. As the investigators questioned Claux, a separate team was executing a search warrant at his apartment on Rue Cousteau. What they discovered was a chilling tableau of horror. Bone fragments and human teeth were strewn about the apartment, vertebrae and leg bones dangled from the ceiling, a grotesque parody of a child's mobile. The shelves were filled with hundreds of videotapes, mostly slasher and hardcore S&M films. A bullet-riddled target hung on one wall, a silent testament to the violence that had occurred within these walls. Jars of human ashes perched on top of a TV set, and a backpack containing handcuffs, surgical instruments, and duct tape was found nearby. The investigators also discovered stolen blood bags chilling in the refrigerator. Faced with the damning results of the ballistic tests, Nico confessed to the murder of Bissonnier. But the horrors did not stop there. Nico, who professed to be a practicing Satanist, shocked investigators with tales of his gruesome activities. He spoke of his fascination with death, how he would prowl Parisian cemeteries, digging up fresh graves. He recounted how he enjoyed drinking human blood, mixed with human ashes and powder protein. He even admitted to eating strips of muscle from a corpse in the St. Joseph Hospital mortuary. Nico's confessions painted a terrifying picture of a nearly psychotic sadist, as described by court psychiatrists. However, due to the lack of evidence linking him to the other crimes, Nico was only charged with 1 count of premeditated murder and 6 counts of grave robberies. During his trial, psychiatrists confirmed that he couldn't be held entirely responsible for his crimes due to his mental state. In May 1997, the unrepentant necrophilic cannibal was found guilty of murder and sentenced to 12 years in prison, with eligibility for parole in late 2000. This is the chilling tale of Nicolas Claux, the vampire of Paris, a story that serves as a stark reminder of the darkness that can reside in the human heart.
In the late 1960s, the streets of Montreal were haunted by a chilling figure, Wayne Clifford Boden. This seemingly charming young man held a dark secret, a sadistic obsession that earned him the infamous moniker, the Vampire Rapist. His signature? A brutal bite mark left on the breasts of his victims. Our tale begins on July 23, 1968, with the murder of Norma Villancourt. Aged just 21, she was found lifeless in her apartment, raped, strangled, her breasts marked by the savage bites of her attacker. Despite the brutality of her demise, there was no sign of struggle, and in a haunting twist, Norma was found with a faint smile on her face. The following year, Boden struck again. This time, his victim was Shirley Audette, whose lifeless body was discovered at an apartment complex in West Montreal. Despite being fully clothed, she too had been raped and her breasts marked by the same brutal teeth imprints. Her ex-boyfriend revealed that Shirley had been involved with a mysterious new man, a man she feared. Later that year, on November 23rd, Marielle Archambault was seen leaving her office with a man she referred to as Bill. The following day, her employer found her in her living room, another victim of the same sadistic strangler. Tellingly, a photo found in her apartment was identified as Bill, yet the police were still unable to connect the dots. In January 1970, Boden claimed another life. Jean Ray, a 24-year-old woman found by her boyfriend in her apartment. Like the others, she had been raped and strangled, her breasts bearing the now familiar teeth marks. Again, despite the violence of her death, there was no sign of a struggle. By 1971, the fear that had gripped Montreal began to fade. However, the vampire rapist was far from finished. This time, he took his reign of terror to Calgary, 2,500 miles away. There, he killed Elizabeth Porteous, a teacher whose body bore the same chilling hallmarks: rape, strangulation, and savage bite marks. This time, a broken cufflink was found near her body. Colleagues reported seeing Elizabeth with a man in a blue Mercedes on the night of her death. The vehicle bore a distinctive bull-shaped decal, and friends recalled that Elizabeth had been seeing a man named Bill. On May 19th, police found Wayne Boden's car near the murder scene and arrested him as he approached it. He admitted to being with Elizabeth Porteous on the night she was killed. His reign of terror was finally over. In a groundbreaking use of forensics, a dentist was able to demonstrate 29 points of similarity between the bite marks on the victims and Boden's teeth. This led to his conviction and multiple life sentences, marking a significant moment in the history of forensic science. Wayne Clifford Boden, the vampire rapist, was finally brought to justice. His chilling spree serves as a stark reminder of the darkness that can lurk beneath a charming exterior and the pioneering role of forensic science in solving crimes.
The chilling tale of Marc Vincent Sappington begins with a series of horrendous crimes that would shock the nation. This unassuming 25-year-old from Kansas City, Kansas, would soon become notorious for his gruesome acts, earning him a place among America's most infamous serial killers. Our story starts in March 2001, when Sappington committed his first known crime. He was charged with attempted aggravated robbery and the murder of David Mashak at his auto dealership. Sappington's crime spree escalated in April 2001, when he murdered 3 acquaintances: Terry T. Green, Michael Weaver Jr., and Alton Fred Brown Jr. The nature of these crimes was not only horrifying, but also deeply disturbing. Sappington confessed to stabbing Weaver to death, leaving Green's body in a car, and shooting Brown before dismembering his body. In a truly macabre twist, Sappington admitted to eating a small piece of Brown's leg, a detail that would forever mark him as a cannibalistic killer. Sappington's defense team attributed this chilling 4-day killing spree to a history of schizophrenia and daily use of the hallucinogenic drug PCP. Sappington himself claimed that voices in his head told him to consume human flesh and blood or face death. This gruesome revelation painted a chilling picture of a man tormented by his own mind, driven to commit unspeakable acts. In June 2004, Sappington was convicted of the murders. Prosecutors sought 3 consecutive terms of 50 years without the possibility of parole. Later that year, in December, Sappington was also convicted of the earlier charges related to Mashak's murder and attempted robbery. The Kansas Supreme Court affirmed Sappington's conviction on November 2, 2007. He is currently serving 4 consecutive life sentences. The case of Marc Vincent Sappington is a chilling reminder of the depths to which the human mind can descend. A young man from Kansas City, driven by voices in his head and a deadly cocktail of drugs, committed horrific acts that shocked the nation. His story is a stark warning of the devastating effects of untreated mental illness and substance abuse. In the end, justice was served. Yet the scars left by Sappington's gruesome acts remain, a grim testament to the darkness that can lurk within the human mind. This chilling tale of murder and cannibalism serves as a stark reminder of the importance of mental health awareness and treatment, and the tragic consequences of ignoring these issues.